Today, we are going to be checking out the top 10 light gun video games by WatchMojo, the top 10 video YouTube channel. And we're going to also, by the end of this, share with you my thoughts, what the top 10 should be in my own mind. And we're going to go ahead and look at theirs as well. And then with a little bonus material at the end. So stay tuned. So for those of you that don't know, my brother and I are working on a video of our top 5 light gun games for the original MAME arcade set, so you can easily emulate it on your computer with a light gun like a Wii Remote or aim track, or when the Sinden light gun comes out, that one as well. And when we were making the video, we just decided there's way too many light gun games, so that's why we decided on the MAME. And just like you're about to see in this list, it's really hard to decide, especially as the category still is evolving. There are 3D games being made. I know there's virtual reality games in the works, and this category could grow even further. But let's go ahead and look at these originals. Top 10. Number 10, Lethal Enforcers. I'd have to agree. Great game. It would definitely be my top 20. And yeah, these are real life, people in a game. It was kind of controversial at the time, but a variety of scenes. The cutouts were fairly realistic for the time, and reloading off screen and everything was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And then Lethal Enforcer 2, I think, was the one in the Wild West. So this one was definitely the cooler of the two back when they came out. But yeah, a load of fun. A lot of quarters lost on this one. Terminator 2. Now this one, it is a light gun game, but you had one of those little things that you can kind of steer around the screen, or the gun was kind of, held onto the mount itself. It wasn't, by a wire. But this is something that people take for granted, which is this just the variety of gameplay and the power-ups and the level. Like, that first level was really long. A lot of you probably in the arcade never even got past that first level, but eventually you get to T100 here, and it's pretty cool. You got it. Spoiler alert, the liquid nitrogen is what does the trick. All right, Point Blank, and I believe there's a Point Blank 2 as well, and great set of games. I would definitely add this to my top, probably higher than this, especially if we're talking MAME, like original arcade games, because of the variety. It kind of reminds me of Mario Party of its day, with all those little mini games, but the mini games were actually good. Which some Mario Party games aren't so good. Some of them are pretty good. So just the variety, and it makes for great for first player, second player. Now this is one I haven't actually spent much time playing, but I don't know if I would put this on my list, just based on what I've seen and heard. But I mean, I guess if you were to consider the original cabinet as well, then that's another story. But as far as just straight up gameplay, I don't know. Something I noticed that they didn't put in this video, there's a lot of games they didn't put in here, like the new Transformers game for Techno Parrot, or fairly new. And then there's been a lot of variety of games, like Dream Machines and many other interactive games, where you also have a interactive, maybe the seat moves as well. Okay, Duck Hunt. I mean, arguably the original game, you even had the disc game in between level 1 and level 3, and it got incrementally harder. I struggle with this one because I understand I'd have to put it in my top 10 because it's like the OG game. But at the same time, it does get boring after a while. You do want to mix up the gameplay and things like that. And that's why I don't know if I would put it on my top 10. Virtual Cop 2, heck yeah. Top 10, no doubt in my mind. Great game for its time. One of the first 3D light gun games out there. And, just the mechanics and the camera movement and the reloading, it was just, really, really great all around. So, super fun. And the story's good, the movement's good, the scene change is good, the difficulty in it is good, right? Because you still have to, not only kill innocents and all over the place. So, Police 911, great game, but I don't know if I would put it on my top 10 list. If I was making a top 10 list, I'd probably limit it to only a certain amount of cop games. So, but however, that mechanism there with the actual ducking and things is pretty novel. But if you're going to emulate this or play it at home, not necessarily the easiest thing. I guess that's something we'd have to keep in mind too, is that this video is talking about light gun games in the arcade, where I'm looking at it from, if I'm at home, which one of these do I want to play? And that's the same thing with this game, the sniper game. Because I have to say, when I've played sniper in the arcade, it is really cool because the gun is huge. Yeah, it's a huge little gun, and it's pretty cool that you know, and you can actually look through the LED. There's actually an LED screen in the scope that you can look at, and it'll actually light up, and you can see. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely novel, and if you want this top 10 list to be like a variety, there you go. Now, House of the Dead, the thing is, there's House of the Dead 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all really good. Like, you know, they're all decent games. I know some people might be like, yeah, that one was kind of repetitive or boring, but, you know, as far as zombie games go, really, really classic, fun games. Now, there's other zombie games and things like that. Like, I would put Carnival up here, and I would put Zombie Raid as well, as far as fun zombie games, but for sure House of the Dead would take the cake because way better storyline, you know, way better reload action and gun firing action, and just variety for sure. No doubt in my mind would make it. Now, Area 51 would make my top 20 list, no problem at all. Because A, it was one of the more accurate games out there at the time with the gun itself, and it just was so much fun. But that's also maybe because of my generation. Gunblade New York, and Mad Dog McCree. So these are those American Laser disc games. They're actually pretty cool. I agree that I don't think they should make the list. Lucky and Wild, again, another game, kind of novel, because you had a driver and a gun. And then Jurassic Park The Lost World, this would have made my top list. Time Crisis, without a doubt, is my number one as well. Without a doubt. And there's this guy playing Duck Hunt in VR. Crazy, right? But speaking of VR, I just want to bring this up for a second, is we should get Time Crisis for VR. Come on, Namco. Do it. And you asked for it. Here's my top 10 light gun list. And please note, one of my criteria was I wanted to get different games on this list. So that if you're looking at this list, you try out all these games because they're all fairly unique in their own right. Putting Duck Hunt and Hogan's Alley last because those are just original games. And then it goes in through a variety of games, everything from good story modes to killing different things to different mechanics. And all of these games can be played via emulation. So here's Jurassic Park The Lost World. It can be played with the Sega Model 3 emulator. Great game. A lot of cool dynamics. You can shoot the dinosaurs in different areas to stop the actual larger bosses from catching you. Transformers, graphically one of the cooler ones. Great gameplay, a lot of fun. This game, the Star Wars Arcade Trilogy, you not only can fly a X-wing, but you can also do a shooter just like this. Blue Estate offers some really cool gameplay while being a little mature and interesting, and gives you options of where you want to go during the gameplay. Now, Time Crisis, I picked Time Crisis 2 because it is the more advanced, more graphically nice, and also they included some interesting gameplay. But I did want to show off some honorable mentions as well. You know, Golden Gun, We Play, Lethal Enforcers almost made my list, Area 51. There's a lot of cop games out there, you know, like Police Trainer, Lethal Enforcer, and many others. So I didn't want to get too heavy into that, but they would totally make my top 20. Definitely. And then the OG of all this, you know, Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt. Terminator 2 made my list. It's just really large levels, variety gameplay, really nice. So there you have it. We didn't talk about Virtual Cop 2, but the other video did. We both agree on that. Transformers we saw. House of the Dead. I think House of the Dead Overkill is a great game that they released for the Wii, and then I think it was also released for another console. And then House of the Dead 2 being the predecessor of House of the Dead 1. But the whole House of the Dead series, as I mentioned earlier, is phenomenal. So there you go. That's my top 10. What's your top 10? What did I overlook here or not see, or I should play with some more? Ghost Squad would definitely be in my top 20 as well. There's just a lot of games out there. It was really hard for me to make this list. I would also put Point Blank 2 probably ahead of Point Blank 1, but just, you know, by a little bit. They're both really great games. That being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.